MightyKeef. I am historically, maybe even infamously, a very optimistic gamer. I always want a video game to do well. I always want the video game industry to do well. I've played video games since I was 5 years old. I've played competitively in fighting games since I was 15. I've been making video content in this YouTube career since 2014. Well, 2018 is when I really left my job and did this thing for real. But you guys understand what I'm saying, right? I've been in the gaming community in some capacity my entire life. So I always want gaming to do well. So for me to make a video like this, things are not doing well. Don't even get me wrong. The gaming industry is doing well. It's profitable, always. Something like this happens, this is not good. Basically, what's going on is we had a fan, right? I guess he's not a fan, actually. I'll explain why he's not a fan in a minute. Randy, right? He asked, Randy, this game better not be $80. Talking about Borderlands 4. A game in which I love this series, by the way. Played Borderlands 1 through 4. Played Tiny Tina's Wonderland, even though a lot of people didn't like that one. Loved the pre-sequel. 2 is still the best game in the series. And I really like 3, even though they were very cringe YouTubers. And no one likes cringe YouTubers. So how this started off was Randy Pitchford, the CEO, I guess, of Gearbox, who makes Borderlands. I don't know if he's CEO. He's high up. He's the highest. He's very, very high up if he's not the CEO. All right, he says, I'm so very excited for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I am even more excited to bring Borderlands 4 to Incredible Magic Machine. Cool, we get to play Borderlands 4 on Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's great. Portable Borderlands. I am so cool with that. In fact, I'll go ahead and like it, right? I'm that type of person. I saw a nice tweet. I liked it. Then I go down, and I see Randy says, oh, I'm sorry. This user says, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. All right. This is a huge conversation that's been in the gaming industry since, honestly, last year. Prices have gone up to $70 for PS5 and whatnot, and Xbox Series X from 5 years ago. But the idea of Grand Theft Auto being like $100 game is kind of what sparked this whole conversation about gaming increasing to the point where it's like of no return, right? To the point where it's like, this is way too costly of a hobby, right? Then out of nowhere, Nintendo drops their information about 2 months ago. I'm sorry, I think it was actually early April. About the Nintendo Switch 2 and how that console's going up. Understandable. It's a more pricier console. I mean, it's more pricier equipment in the console. The console's going to be higher. Understandable. The unacceptable part is that the games are going to be $70 to $80, right? And some of the games are pretty much. I mean, this is still Nintendo Switch, right? They're not pulling the type of graphics or processing powers like, a PC or PS5 or whatever, right? So even $70 people were griping, but that might go through. $80 though is insane. And who knows if that's going to be the minimum or the maximum or what. They're pushing up to 80, and that's when a lot of the conversation went full blown, okay? So now they're saying, hey, oh, I forgot to tell you. And Xbox raised the price. I'll be having a skit on that in the next day or so. Xbox raised the price of all their accessories, pretty much. All their accessories and all their consoles. I believe the games are still $70 though. So, too long, didn't hear. The price of gaming has increased much more than people believe it should have in the small amount of time that it did. So, Randy responds, A, not my call. We don't know if it is or isn't. I don't see why he would lie, but cool, not his call. He can't really do anything about it. This is the problem, though. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. That is where the problem is. There is maybe 1,000 ways you could have said this better. And you chose probably the worst one. A individual believing that their hobby is costing too much, that they can't keep up with it, when they have everyday lives. They may have families to tend to. They have bills to tend to. They have maybe education they need to tend to. Other things that are taking money from them. Putting more money into a gaming hobby, right? I'm assuming gaming is not a career like them. It's not an investment like it would be for me or other creators. This is a person who just wants to play games on their free time. To go and tell them that you're actually not a real fan because you would then find a way to pay me this money, essentially, right? He's the CEO. The money's somewhere down the line. The money is going to him. CEOs make a lot of money. A lot of the money is going to him. All right, if he is the CEO, okay? That is a ridiculous statement. Like, no matter how you try to chop it up to make it look nice, that is a ridiculous statement. I don't know much about Randy. People have said he's not a great guy. I haven't seen anything myself, right? I need to do more research on that. My individual issue is with this right here. You could have simply just said, it's not my call. I do understand that video game pricing is a huge conversation right now. Hopefully everything will work out. Something. Even though that's incredibly PR, that is still much better than telling someone who wants to buy your product that you're actually not a real fan if you can't fork over the money. And this comparison people make about, $80 games in the 90s and stuff like that. God, people, that is not a good comparison. All right. People were able to buy houses on one income back then. You realize that? Money in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the 80s, in the 70s are completely different from the money now. You were in high school then, Randy. You didn't have a college tuition to pay. You didn't have an electric bill to pay. You didn't have a mortgage to pay. I don't even know if you had an apartment rent to pay. I don't know if you had insurance on health or car to pay. You didn't have a wife to provide for. You didn't have kids to provide for. You were in high school, minimum wage, and you bought a game you wanted to do. Brother, that is not the same thing as paying $80 now in this horrible economy. This was just probably one of the craziest things I have seen a company, right? I know it's not Gearbox that said it, but he's the damn leader of Gearbox, so it might as well be. It is one of the craziest things. I thought Ubisoft's whole, get used to not owning your games was going to be the worst thing we heard. This tops it. Because I can at least give Ubisoft some slack, because technically, when you buy a digital game, you don't own it. And that's just how the landscape is, and that sucks. And they're assuming everyone's just going to start going to digital and instead of physical. It's still a stupid thing to say out loud in front of people in public. It's just a stupid thing to say. But this tops it. This tops it because you're attacking the individual fans, telling them, hey, buddy, if you're too broke to get the game, you're not a real fan. And I can't get with that. And everybody is grilling this guy. Everyone, right? There's just you just type it in. We already aren't buying it now. We definitely aren't. Bro needs the money from the USB. I mean, they're cooking him. The entire internet is cooking him right now because this was just so out of touch. So I don't understand it, right? And the thing is, I want Borderlands 4 to succeed. Like, what? Why say this, man? I want Borderlands 4 to succeed because I love Borderlands. It is my looter shooter game. A lot of people have Warframe. A lot of people have Destiny. A lot of people have The Division. A lot of people have what else? Anthem. Just kidding. A lot of people have that looter shooter they can always go to. Mine was Borderlands. Okay, and Borderlands 3, the multiplayer kind of sucked, and so if you didn't have friends that played, finding people, it just wasn't great, right? And I haven't got to do that. I haven't got to do that since Borderlands came out, 2018? Something like that? Bro, it's been so long. Like, I want Borderlands 4 to succeed. I want it to be a good game, a fun game. I want a lot of people to play it because the more people that play it, the better the online experience is. I'm glad it's cross-play. I want everything to succeed on this, man. But something like this is going to turn people away, even people who were going to get the game 100%, because you can't just disrespect fans like this, bro. And this is just not a good look, man. But I'm not going to harp on it too long. I probably already did. I just wanted to rant I just want to give that a rant. And like I said, if I'm very optimistic, and if I'm having some issues with this stuff, then that's a problem. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. Are you real fans or are you broke ass niggas? Let me know. Well, give it a like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Take care. Peace.